part of being a magician is I take a beautiful lie and I make it true. You know, can your mind be opened up by deception? Well, I started this career and I had a panic attack when I realized what I did. You know, there's nothing like your first career panic attack. You can feel your left arm go numb. The second and third one are good too, but there's nothing like the first. I realized that I picked a career where I wanted to be authentic by not telling the truth. I wanted to lie. It seemed to make perfect sense. And the icing on the cake, my contemporaries wore a bedazzled vest and eyeliner. Some heavy black eyeliner. But that wasn't me, you know. I wanted art. I wanted to say something important. You know, I wanted to be all James Joyce Portraits of an Artist as a Young Man. Yeah. Now, I know art and commerce do not mix, especially if you're a magician. I don't know if y'all know this, but the pay scale goes doctor, lawyer, magician. But that was okay. I mean, art is like the good son or daughter that wants just respect that comes with their father's last name. Commerce is, you know, the opposite. It just wants to make money off that name. That was all right. I just needed to figure out how to mesh the two. And I had to be reminded why I did magic. Now, I wasn't going to tell this story because I don't want to cry. Don't make me cry, TED people. When I was a kid, I was about 11 years old. I have 45, 48 cousins. I don't even know. And my grandfather, he didn't have time to know us, really, or personally. So he would just buy a lot of gifts. The boys' gifts were in green boxes. The girls' gifts were in red boxes. You played hide and go seek and you found your gift. I found a magic kit. And, you know, my grandfather didn't speak English. And we would just bond over John Wayne films, because that's what you do. And I would make these popcorn pop into my mouth, just float, levitate, and I would catch it, you know, and I would just kind of stare at him. And he would smile at me, knowing he did a good thing. He had a good run with it. He bought, or one of my cousins found a football. He became a high school football coach. One girl found a doctor's kit, and she's now a pharmacist. So that chaos theory worked. So how could I make magic in art knowing I was telling lies? Well, in my search, I found this quote by Pablo Picasso. We all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize the truth, or at least the truth we want to understand. Now, I know the world's free of full advice, no matter how much it costs, but this really stuck with me. How could I make magic art? So in my research, I actually taught a class just to get in touch with why I loved magic, to be reminded. And I came across these stories where I realized these magicians changed the world. The first was in 1972. A magician named Uri Geller appeared on the scene, and he started to bend silverware, bending spoons, bending forks, stopping watches with his mind. Now, the Berkeley scientists, it just has to be right timing. They wanted anything paranormal to be true. So they tested Uri at the Stanford Research Center, and he fooled them. They believed he was bending this silverware with his mind. It pushed the study of string theory, because if they could understand quantum mechanics, they could understand how Uri was bending a spoon with his mind. He was basically doing a no-go theorem. He was making the physical, impossible thing to do happen right before their eyes. He basically saved Bell's theorem from oblivion. But that was a magician demonstrating his power. What about a magician demonstrating his creation? Another one of my favorite stories is of this. This is the Turk, created in 1770 by Wolfgang von Kempler. Now, the Turk is basically a giant automaton, which is basically a giant wind-up toy. And it could play chess. It beat some of the brightest minds in its day. Nobody knew how it worked. In fact, he had a match with Napoleon. Now, Napoleon didn't want to lose to a machine. Couldn't bear it. Wasn't going to happen. So he did what Napoleon do. He cheated. He would take the pieces and he would move them where he wanted. And the Turk would just grunt. And he would try to move another piece. Napoleon kept on cheating. Finally, the Turk got so upset, it ignored Isaac Asimov's first law of robotics, and it got mad. It took his hand and it swiped all the chess pieces off the board. Game over. Now, how did the Turk change the world? Well, the Turk changed the world because Edmund Cartwright, the inventor of the loom, watched the Turk perform. And he said, if a man can invent a machine that can play chess, I can invent this machine that's in my mind. He inspired the calculator. The Turk even goes all the way to the 1990s when it influenced IBM to create Deep Blue. But my favorite story is that of the godfather of modern conjuring. That is the French magician Robert Houdin. I love this story. Now, in Algeria, these rebels were causing a scene, causing a revolt by doing little bitty magic tricks. They were walking on glass, they were eating fire to prove they were prophets. Now, the French army had a choice. They could go in there and stop this. They said, well, hold on. We have the world's greatest magician. You know, aggression is so cheap and costly. Maybe these guys are prophets. Let's send a magician. Let's send him in there, and he will stop this. So they did. So Robert Houdin came in and said, okay, I understand the situation. They do not have powers. They're not prophets, so I will talk to them. So Robert Houdin had this box, and he laid it down on the ground. He talked to one of the rebels. He says, what I want you to do is I want you to pick up that box. And he did. And Robert Houdin looked at him and said, now I will drain your energy. You will have no power because of me. That's my power. That's what I can do. The rebel went down to pick up the box, and he could not do it. He freaked out. He pulled and tugged, could not move that box from the bare ground. He actually fell down on his knees and started to cry. Robert Houdin followed that up by catching a marked bullet with an apple, by tossing it up in the air when it was fired, and then he made one of the audience members disappear. At this point, the rebel said, you know what? We're going to go. I'm sorry. You're the man. Robert Houdin actually had performer's remorse about this. He felt guilty. He found the translator and sent them over there to say, it's not supernatural. It was all fake. I did not take your energy. He had a conscience. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a soldier. He was a magician. 3 days later, they showed up at his house, begging to learn some of his tricks, and they'd, pledged their allegiance to France. Now, how can we have that wonder today? It's hard, because we are forever connected. If you want to look up in your pocket how to bend a spoon with your mind, you'll find 10 different ways. We're never alone. We are a world without secrets. Privacy is now the enemy. We're always connected. But next time you eat that dish that you love so much, and before you can pin it, blog about it, look up how it's made, look up what's in it, maybe take 10 minutes to wonder. And when you read that book, and that book makes you feel a certain feeling, why get on right away to make sure your feeling is right? Because that's what we do. Now, what I have here is a box of cards, and let's just pretend it's full of secrets. You want to come out here and help me with it? Thank you so much. What I want you to do is I want you to take your finger and place it on the box. Now, do you have a knife? I do. Don't mess with the magician. You enjoying the talk so far? Yeah, it's good. That's good. That's good. If this is all the secrets you want to learn, this is what we do. This is our main course. We just want to pierce through it. We don't want to open it up one by one. We don't want to learn. That's not the way anymore. We want answers, and we want them now. What I want you to do, if I could give you anything, is I want to give you wonder. You know how I stabbed through a deck of cards? I have to have a way, right? Oh, it's pretty easy. I just took them out. But if I could leave you anything, I do want to leave you with some kind of wonder, right? We can't do that. We can't pierce through something. We have to take our time to really understand it. Yeah. That is a block of steel. 2 pounds at least. We can all take time to wonder, even though we're always connected, even though now we're never alone. Next time you see something that's beautiful, next time you stand in front of a painting and wonder how long you have to stand there to get it, that's what we do. I've looked at many Jackson Pollock's paintings and I still don't see the sailboat. Take it in. Wonder. You deserve it. Thank you.